First of all, this is the art of computer science. Thank you for everyone for joining me. Let's jump in, huh? Okay, perfect. So, I assume everyone can hear me. Cool. Great. So stop me if you've heard this one before, but I feel like especially for like keynotes or like big talks like this, a lot of times these start out by the presenter talking about how, well, you'll see, like just how they've been programming since they were 4 years old and a prodigy and kind of dissecting and building things. Maybe, just maybe, they're so impressive. Maybe they built a fully functioning protocol droid at the age of 4, and maybe even a pod racer. I don't know. Maybe not those last two, but I just want to say that's not me. I don't consider myself like a programming prodigy at all. I'm someone who has struggled immensely every step of the way to try to become the engineer I am today. So, before we get started, I just want to go through a couple of things here, because I have a really short talk here for you today. But if you all want any of the talks, resources, videos, any links I share in this talk, you can go check out that link there on the page, or just scan that little QR code on the page. I'm going to be showing that QR code a lot in this deck, so whenever you see that, just know that takes you to the resources. I know a lot of people just like want to follow along too. Oh yeah, the slides are going to be there too. Everything you need is going to be there. Okay, if you have a question, just let me know. I'm keeping an eye on the stage chat channel, and I'll be able to answer any questions there too. I'm gonna have a little bit of time for questions at the end, but this is like super short. We got like 20 minutes here. So just feel free, ask me questions. I'm here. Doesn't disrupt my flow at all. I'm gonna try my best to keep an eye on it. Okay, so first of all, just let me get this out of the way. Yes, I am another white dude in tech. I just want to acknowledge the fact that I have a lot of privilege in this industry as a cis white man. And some of the people in watching this talk right now might not have the same experiences that I had in my career too. But my goal is still to inspire you, to help you find people that support you and find what makes you fall in love with tech. Does that make sense? So anyway, I'm a privileged white man, and your mileage may vary, and I hope you can still get a lot out of this talk despite all that. Okay, so who the heck am I and why the heck am I here? So first of all, my name is Joe Carlson, and I'm a software engineer and developer advocate, which we'll talk about that in just a second. And I work for a little company called MongoDB. We're like a database company. I hope some of you used it for your projects today. I don't know, who knows? But if anyone wants to get a hold of me, for sure, hit me up on Twitter. It's the best way to get a hold of me. I make funny TikTok videos. So if anyone is on TikTok, be sure to follow me on there. I mostly make them about programming videos. I'm not a great dancer. I don't do a lot of dances. But yeah, I don't know. I figured, whatever. If that's your thing, great. Follow me there. Lastly, the links again, right? If you want to follow along here, it's on there too. And if I say anything controversial here, just know it's my own opinion. It's not the opinion of my employer. Right? I don't want to get fired, please, you know. So if I say anything controversial today, just know it's me and not my company speaking. Cool? Great. Developer advocate. This is kind of a weird term. I didn't know what this was when I was in college, but it's basically a fancy title for someone who has the honor of speaking to devs and making cool things for them. I make demos. I write documentation for MongoDB. I speak at conferences, and I get to just hang out at hackathons and chit chat with people who are making cool stuff like you. I've been a full stack JavaScript developer and instructor my whole life. I've been an instructor at one of the top 10 best developer boot camps in the world, teaching full stack Node and JavaScript. And I've also been a technical lead at one of the largest e-commerce sites in the world. I'm not going to say which one it is, but I will say it is big and blue, and you've probably heard that has a big, there's big lines outside of this place on Black Friday. That's all I'm going to say. It's one of the third largest e-commerce sites in the world, behind Amazon and Walmart, though. Okay, great. And today, I am someone with the great honor of speaking with all of you. I'm actually truly humbled and honored to just be here. I can't believe it. I'm shocked. But I feel super lucky. So, let's jump into this. eBay, someone says. Close. So, let's start at the beginning. The beginning of time. which all you guys know is the dawn of the Unix Epoch, which is such a cool word, in 1970. Okay, well, maybe not that far, but I do want to start in college. And I'm just going to say this too, if my college professors knew I was here speaking to all y'all today, they would probably they'd be crying. They'd be crying. But I started going to school in 2008, one of the beginnings of one of our many economic depressions in the US / the world, which I'm sure you guys are like probably aware of right now, being in school and maybe coming to graduate in the next couple months. I hope it gets better. I really do. I feel for you. But I switched to a computer science major out of complete fear. Starting school in 2008, with the recession, I was terrified of getting a job when I graduated. I actually started as an art history major. I switched to sociology, physics, and then eventually landed on computer science my junior year. It definitely wasn't a passion, and fear was the motivator for my career choice. That's okay. I feel like in our industry, there's a lot of pressure for us to need to make our lives all about tech, and we need to get in for the right reasons, and if you're not passionate about it, you're going to fail. And I don't think that's true. I didn't start it for the right reasons, but I found my place in it, and it took me a long time. But yeah, I was an okay student. I didn't get it. Being out there for fear in college made me a terrible student. And it wasn't till later, which we'll get to, when I really started to get into it. So my first programming job, I was doing Microsoft SharePoint development for companies in the Midwest during the Ballmer years. You guys might have a different... Microsoft is cool these days. Microsoft is super cool. I did not work for Microsoft when it was cool. This was like the era when I was working for Microsoft. When Steve Ballmer was in charge, and he's this guy, right? He's the guy with the polo pumping his hands around. I hated my job. I found no joy in programming, and I was consistently looking for a way out. In fact, I had a band I was hoping would get big, and that would be my ticket out of programming. Spoiler alert, it did not happen. We sucked. But I tried. I was starting to feel like Squidward, right? I don't know. I was just like programming in and out. I didn't do any programming on my own. I didn't really have any friends that programmed. I just found zero joy in it. It totally drained me. But I had an opportunity to move to Hawaii, which was amazing. But my goal when I moved to Hawaii was actually to try to become a surf bum. And my goal was to give up on programming forever. That was my original goal. I thought, maybe this is my way out here. But I actually ended up getting involved with hanging out with a bunch of local surf punk coders and software engineers. I'm not joking. It was a part of the punk community down there. But the thing is that they were all building stuff and making stuff for fun and because they liked it. I ended up just sitting there programming all the time. I tried learning how to surf for a little bit, but I just ended up sitting inside programming all the time with my new friends. But the thing, too, with them is that I found they were exploring things that they thought were interesting on their own. And to be honest, in school, I had a hard time doing that. I have a distinct memory of sitting in class and just asking my professor, why any of this stuff was important. I didn't get data structures and algorithms. I didn't get the methodologies they were teaching. I didn't get all the math and graph theory. I just since understood why it's important to know it. But I didn't get it. And it wasn't until I started studying and making things that I liked that I got good at programming and actually started enjoying it. But I want to talk a little bit about what I actually did find enjoyment in with programming. So specifically, I got really into art. Hence the title of this talk. Ooh, Art of Computer Science. I love exploring the boundaries of what's possible with the new medium that we're exploring today. In particular, I am obsessed with the stupid things we can build, which I kind of love with this hackathon. Not saying that any of your stuff is stupid. The stuff I just saw is incredible and I cannot believe it. But I love the stuff that borders on the line between being completely ridiculous and stupid and totally incredible and amazing. I'm obsessed with that. I think that there's so much space there, and I think that that's where like creativity kind of shines, you know? In fact, I started running a hackathon called the Stupid Shit No One in Hawaii Needs and Terrible Ideas Hackathon. This is the website. It falls apart as you scroll further and further down the page, which I thought was super fun. But people made stupid stuff like a 6-foot large fidget spinner. Someone made an app that only takes photos when you shake your camera, so it only takes blurry photos. But the point was like rejecting corporate hackathons and building things for profit and building things with your friends that you like. You know what I mean? I'm obsessed with that. In addition, I think that everyone in this room right now we have a unique position to explore one of the greatest artistic mediums of our generation. A lot of traditional artists don't know how to program, but everyone here does. And I think that that is rad. I think exploring and building new things using this medium is the defining artistic medium of our generation, and not many people can do it. Not many people can do it except for you. And I think that's so cool. I think it's the future of art. I've also built some other apps too. I'm just going to go through these really quickly. I built an app, Bechtel.io. Basically, it uploads movie scripts and it determines whether it passes the Bechtel test or not. If you don't know the Bechtel test, allow me to mansplain feminist film theory to you, but it's a film test with 3 rules. It has 2 or more named female characters. They have a conversation with each other about something that's not a man or men. I built this with my sister. She wrote a research project for her PhD on it. Got a little bit of press in the academic fields, which is super fun too. Another one I built too is a project called Punk, short for punctuation. Basically analyzes ebooks for punctuation. So you can determine like how does Ernest Hemingway use punctuation different than Shakespeare, right? On a massive level. You can start massively analyzing that and even do some unique data visualizations based on that as well. I think it's super cool. That's just a couple. I built a bunch of stuff, but I'm obsessed with exploring the digital humanities and art through tech. All of us here have the opportunity to explore and make amazing stuff on our own. I think this hackathon is a great way to show that as well. I'm obsessed with that. And I'm not saying that you need to be an artist in order to find your joy in programming. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying you need to find or make your community and explore and grow what you think is interesting in this field, right? It took me probably 6 to 7 years after I graduated to find a group of people that helped me find what I want. I wish I had something like this when I had graduated college, help me understand that it didn't have to be boring, it didn't have to suck, and I could make things that I thought were interesting. Those communities didn't exist when I graduated, and I found one, and now that I don't live in Hawaii anymore, but it's been my goal to create that everywhere I go. I want to find those communities. I want to make them. I want to share that joy with as many people as I possibly can. To get people excited about it in the ways that I couldn't get excited about it when I first graduated from college. I want you to find or make that community and find what you like. This hackathon is a great way to do that. I'm so glad you guys are all here. You're meeting new people. You're making new things. You're exploring new tech. You're creating things, which I think is the perfect way to do it, right? You need to find what is going to make you feel excited as Harrison Ford feels about Chewie's bowcaster in Star Wars. I want all of you to continue going to hackathons like Pen Apps, and I want you to continue to collaborate with new and old friends. Also, like a minor thing here. Hackathons are a great it's a nice hack for getting a job after you graduate. Most of my jobs I've made through networking or hackathons, because if you can hack with somebody like who's hiring, or someone sees something you made, they already know you can program. You don't have to go through a whiteboard interview. Just a little life hack there for you. Continue doing those if you hate whiteboarding interviews as much as me / everyone in programming. Find what makes you love to code. Okay, I want to do just like a quick little speed round of just like miscellaneous advice I want to give to all y'all too before we wrap up here today. First thing I want to do is just own your career. Your boss is always going to ask you to do more than you're capable of, or like do 80 hours of the work in a 40-hour work week. You might also see white men like me tell you not to worry about job titles. I think especially if you're not a white dude, I want you to like go for it. I want you to try to get promoted. I want you to get amazing new titles, because getting a title does affect which rooms you're allowed in, and it affects the judgments or decisions that can make in your org. Especially if you're not a white man, I want you to get as far as you can, and I need you to do that. A little hack too, I'd recommend, find someone above you who can sponsor you. And a sponsor means that it's someone who's gonna be advocating for you when you're not in the room. It's not someone who's giving you condescending advice. It's someone who's gonna be advocating for you to get ahead. Find someone like that. And if you don't have that at your job, try to find a new one as fast as possible. You need to have supportive people like that above you. Programming's really hard. I don't think people say that enough. Programming's really hard, and if you struggle with it, you're okay. I struggled with it for so long, and I feel like, I still struggle with it all the time, right? I still Google dumb stuff. Just yesterday, I had to Google how to find the length of an array in JavaScript. Just yesterday, right? It's really hard remembering all that stuff. It's hard to do data structures on a whim on a whiteboard for an interview. It's hard. I want you to keep, I think acknowledging that helps reduce the amount of imposter syndrome in our industry, and it makes it okay to struggle. Because it is. Not all of us are going to be prodigy geniuses. Something that I think makes me different too is I just am diligent and keep going, even though it's really, learning's hard for me. It takes me a really long time, but I work harder than anyone at it. You know? It's hard. It's really hard. There's no shortcuts on it. Hey, what's the best programming language? Let me know in the chat. What's the best programming language? Do you want me to tell you what the best? Should I tell you what the best programming language is? Let me tell you. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's no best programming languages. They change all the time. Programming languages are tools we use to solve problems. That's like asking a handyman. Yeah, we got a bunch. Pseudocode, C, Java. Yeah, it's none of them. It doesn't matter. They're tools for us to solve problems. Different programming languages solve different problems differently. And it depends whatever you need to do, whatever you need to solve. I hate gatekeeping in our industry that tells you that you have to learn this thing and this program language sucks and you have to use this text editor or you're not a real programmer. That's not true at all. Use the tools you're most efficient with and use the language that's right for the job. You know what I mean? If your company's using Ember and Backbone, cool. That solved their problem. Don't shit on it, right? Everyone shits on PHP. Who cares? Leave them alone. PHP runs the web. It's fine. What about, hey Joe, I get asked this all the time. What's the secret to becoming a great engineer? I'm guessing you guys sense this is a trick question again too. Answer, none. You got to work your ass off. I don't know. This is so hard. I actually struggle with this one too. It's okay to not make your life programming. But I'm not going to lie to you. In order for me to get ahead, I had to work my ass off for a couple of years. It's much easier now for me, but it's hard. And like I said, programming is hard. I struggle with it a lot. And I want you to continue working at it after. Because when I got that job I hated, I wasn't advancing my career at all. I wasn't growing. And it wasn't until I started exploring and learning and growing and making things I liked that I started getting good at it. But that was hard. That was really hard. I want you to not give up. Please don't give up. And I know I'm a cis white dude too, and I have a lot of inherent privileges in this industry too. And it's not going to be as easy for everyone too. But I want you to find people who are going to support you in your career and help you to keep going and keep growing. I'm just going to say, I want you to just build stuff and have fun. I hope you guys had a blast at Penn Apps this weekend. I hope you met some amazing people. I hope you built something you're proud of. Even if you didn't place here today, put that shit on your resume. Brag about it for every job interview you have. People are going to be impressed with it no matter what happens or what your outcome is for your apps. The stuff I saw is incredible. I'm just so impressed with each and every one of you, and I want you to keep doing this, and I want you to inspire your friends to do this as well. Try to have fun. Try to have fun. Try to just do it. People ask me a lot too, hey Joe, what's the best video for learning how to program XYZ? None. Let me ask you, do you think an NBA player goes out and watches YouTube videos of other NBA players to get better at playing basketball? No. They're out there practicing, doing things. You're coding. And each of you is doing that this weekend, which it's so amazing. Don't stop doing it. Graduating from college is not the end of your learning career with programming. It's just the beginning. Things move fast in the industry, and you can't stop learning. You can't stop. And the best way to do that is just keep building stuff with your friends. Okay, let's do a quick recap here. Find your community, please. And if you can't find one, make one. You know, if you want to start a queer coders thing at your company, do it. I just had someone reach out to me. Their boss told them no, they shouldn't create a queer coding group at the work. That's bullshit. Create the community you need to feel safe and supported. If you're not feeling supported in the community that you already have or your job you're going to be getting when you graduate. Find your joy, whatever that is. I found it through art and stupid shit. That might not be your thing, and that's okay. Whatever it is, just find something that inspires you to be better through programming. Try to build stuff and have fun, y'all. Please, I'm so proud of each of you for doing this thing this weekend, but it's so cool. Let's see here. Any questions? I didn't see any questions in the chat here. I got about a minute left. But if anyone has any questions for me, you can for sure ask in the chat. I'll try to answer that. Or if you don't feel comfortable asking in the chat, that's okay too. My DMs are open on Twitter. I'd love to connect with each and every one of you. I am also on LinkedIn. Oh, which I just realized I did not put on here, but just search my name. You'll find me on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect with each and every one of you and try to get you a job or whatever, help you connect to a group or answer questions or whatever I can possibly do to help you in your career. But I want you to do that, right? Thank you so much. Again, I am so humbly honored to be here. This is incredible. This is such an opportunity. I can't believe I get to talk to all of you. You're so great. But please get a hold of me on Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever. But that's it for me. Thank you so much, everyone. Have fun with the rest of the hackathon.